Good afternoon, Tony Dottino. Happy New Year, and I hope everyone in my audience has had a good Christmas season, Hanukkah celebration for the New Year, and didn't overdo the alcohol. Not sure how many of you got to stay up for the ball drop in the various cities. I guess I got to see New Zealand's. Did not make it to Times Square. Conked out at about 11:30. In fact, did not even hear the Disney fireworks that are just a couple of miles from the bedroom window. But I've had a lot of different reading, a lot of different thoughts as we go into the new year. A number of new projects that the team is working on that are exciting, and they bring the whole world of the USA Memory Championship to a new level. And certainly dealing with people with various signs of dementia and Alzheimer's and mental challenges, as well as people who aren't in that state. So it's been wonderful to talk to a few people that are looking to get in front of it. And we're looking at possibly putting a program together for those that want to get in front of the dementia. And the question that being asked all the time is, well, is there anything we can do? And that certainly has answers to it, and the answer is yes, there are things you can do. And one of which is, and we keep hearing this, we've heard it for years for cardio, is exercise. Getting a good sleep, which brought me to one of the articles that I've got to do a little bit more research on, which is Ask Dr. Adams. So we're going to go Ask Dr. Adams. And I found that in an article in the December issue of the ARP Bulletin. I find the ARP Bulletin's got a great source of information from time to time, but they're talking about Dr. Adam Rosenbluth, who's an MD who practices and teaches in New York City. And each Monday, he answers your questions about how to make your body, in many cases your brain, work better. So what I would recommend you do is go ask Dr. Adam Rosenbluth. That's Rosenbluth. And one that caught my eye in the issue of the December ARP Bulletin was How Help Me Sleep Through the Night. And he describes practical strategies for falling back to sleep in the middle of the night, assuming you get to sleep in the first place. But how many times we get to sleep because we're tired, we're exhausted, we get to sleep, we get maybe that nap time, an hour and a half to maybe two, and the next thing we're knowing is we're waking up and it's like, God, how do I get back to sleep? And so asking Dr. Adams, you can go to aarp.org/ask Dr. Adam and learn about the tips on how to get back to sleep. And we know that sleep is one of the most important elements to us in terms of long-term cognitive fitness. Now, one that is equally important is exercise. And I read an article, now where am I reading this one from? God, I got to tell you where I got it from. It was the ICAHN, it's ICAHN School of Medicine at Mount Sinai. So it's the Mount Sinai Bulletin, the January issue. And this talks about resistance bands offer an effective and versatile way of exercising. A resistance band, are these, if you can see this, I don't know, resistance bands, these, I call them these long rubbery things that stretch, and you can go in different directions with them. You got bands that you pull up, you got bands that you pull down, you got bands that you go sideways. But resistance bands use your own body with a little bit of stretching your arms or your legs and different body parts, your shoulders, neck, that help to maintain the muscle tissues, especially as you get older. So resistance bands are one of the most versatile tools you can buy, offering options for strengthening your muscles and improving flexibility. So when we learn more and more about cognitive fitness and exercise, it's not just can you go out and run 5 miles or a marathon. It's not just can you become the biggest Jack LaLanne-like figure with big, broad shoulders and muscles, but can you also demonstrate a level of flexibility, your hips, your knees, your ankles, your arms and shoulders, so that you're not, what's the right word? You're not rigid. And so rubber bands, these resistant bands, have different strengths to them. They're green, they're blue, they're gray. I mean, I've got a bunch of different colors. Got to remember that, blue is the strongest, so I got to work from red to green to blue. But the fact of the matter is, there's another way of simplifying your exercise. So for me, I take a band, and one that goes around my ankles, and I walk sideways in each direction. It helps me with my knees, and most importantly, my hips. It's a fabulous exercise for that. I have the stretch bands, the long ones, the thin ones, I put on the refrigerator, and I pull down on them. So I'm pulling down and strengthening my shoulders and neck, and I can feel that in terms of what I do in that motion. So there's a series of different bands. You got some that you can go this way, and you just stretch them out and pull them apart this way. And so exercise bands are something I read about in the Mount Sinai School of Medicine newsletter, which focuses on aging. So that's in the January. And then the one that we've talked about over and over again is nutrition. What do you know about nutrition? And the standard issue of what are the right foods that you should be eating? Are the supplements the way to answer it? What's the benefits of coconut water, or is it just plain water good enough? Tips to help battle fatigue and boost your energy. I mean, this was a very, very good issue, and I was surprised because it talked about the pH of your diet. Now, pH, I always thought of as in the swimming pool, and we adjust the pH in the swimming pool. But I found this to be an interesting issue put out by the Environmental Nutrition Association, talking about nutrition, which I've talked about over and over again. But I saved the best for last, because here's one I have not read about and have not studied a whole lot on, but it makes sense. And this comes out of the ARP Bulletin, December 2024. Dollars and dementia are an early warning system. Finances can be a sign of cognitive decline. Wow, I guess we can step back and think about that and say, well, it makes common sense if we lose focus on our own finances. But I found that this article in the December issue of the ARP Bulletin really did a great job of saying finances are an early sign and a causality of cognitive decline. Unpaid bills, lower credit scores, and shrinking net worth, years before people are diagnosed with dementia or cognitive impairment, often have a difficulty managing money and start suffering financially. Whoa. So not only do you wind up with some form of dementia, but now you've lost a lot of focus on your financials. And so what they really recommend in this article, I thought it was a good article. First, I never thought of how you manage your finances, because I know so many people who don't manage their finances well, and they've got perfect mental health, and I would never consider them to even be close to having dementia, and they still don't manage their finances well. So I would have never linked, until I read this article, how you watch a person's trend of how they handle financial decisions, financial transactions, until I read this article. And I've heard of crazy things that people have done as they've gotten older, and you say, well, gee, is their brain still working? But here's the article, Dollars and Dementia, in the December issue of the ARP Bulletin. Many older adults are not comfortable discussing their finances and may not be willing to give up control. So that doesn't help, because you want to help them, but they think, well, gee, stay out of my pocket. Maybe with some of the scams that have gone on, when you ask a senior or a person of any age, can I help you with your finances? It's like, oh, put your hands on your pocket. Simplify accounts for people so they don't have a whole bunch of credit cards and a whole bunch of different accounts. And in the early stages of cognitive impairment, older adults can still manage tasks well, so their financial lapses may not be obvious. But checking in regularly makes it easy to spot the warning signs, such as late payments notices and once-neat files in disarray. Other red flags may include double paying bills or having difficulty understanding financial documents. Well, I don't think I've gotten dementia yet, but boy, do I double pay bills once in a while when I don't write down what I paid, who I paid, what the date was I paid it. The next thing I'm doing is get a second, especially on subscriptions. I mean, I've probably extended subscriptions by 2 or 3 years, not intentionally, but because the bill comes in, I pay it again, forgetting when I paid the last one. I don't do a good job of keeping a check register, and you say, gee, is that not all part of the normal process that some of us just don't do well? So those were some of the things I've read during the holidays. I'm back in form here on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, in keeping my Live with Tony audience alive and well, and give you little tips. So as fast as I say that, this Wednesday and this Friday, I may be in the travel mode, so I'm not sure what I'll do. I'll try to get Wednesday out before I start the journey, and then Friday becomes my next challenge, and maybe I'll pick it up on Saturday. But in any case, it's good to be back. Everybody have a good New Year. I'm reading articles already where some people are giving up on their resolutions already. It's too early to give up on your resolution. Get back there and stick with it, and we'll see you later on this week.